Pan-African System Solutions company, CWG, reported an 84.2% growth in profits, driven by sustained growth in software sales and IT infrastructure services. Adewale Adeyipo, the Group CEO of CWG, says that the experiences have produced the opportunity to refine the company's corporate strategies and values. He joins me now to discuss what lies ahead for the company. Thank you so much for your time today. And now looking at that expansion play out in your infrastructure services, IT services, speak to what was seen play out in the market and the response to CWG.
All right, thank you again for having me. 2025 was another rewarding year for us at CWG. We had a very bullish and robust strategy in Nigeria and across the Pan-African operation. And of course, we closed with a 666 billion with an 83% increase in our PBT. We consider that the big one for us beyond the financials, the milestones and the leverage that we're able to create that is forming the dynamics of what we're looking at, especially in our expansion within the East African market. But more predominantly for us will be a lot of the collaboration we're able to do with our banking consolidation and modernization, working with at least 25, 26 banks in Nigeria today.
We'll get into that a little bit, but let's first speak to some of the performance of your different segments of your business.
Yes, first will be financial institution, again, remain one of our very strong hold. And we delivered brilliantly again in that space. Beyond the core banking services that a lot of people know us with, we've now been able to create what we call a very unique product within that value chain. And a lot of it, beyond just being very credible product, they're actually addressing very specific problem statements within that value chain. And a lot of investment also went into that in the last 18 months. So we're banking on that also for our next growth trajectory. One very critical area I must speak into is government. The recent appetite for technology consumption and deployment within the government space. We also saw an uptake on that, by over 60% comparing that to a 5-year trend. And not just in Nigeria, we're seeing that same trend within the East African operation. So brilliantly also, we're able to expand our business beyond Uganda this year by moving to 3 other territory.
Because I was going to get into that, your regional operations and what's the strategy for expansion?
Yes, so for that, we have a group consolidation. We're able to also do that in 2025. So a lot of our products will be taken out from the group, and a lot of digital localization will then happen across the operations that will play into the. But something very critical that I must mention is the need and the appetite for these entities also to own. So before now, you see Nigeria as a hub. For example, if you take a bank that has multi-country operations, Nigeria becomes a hub, then they trade a lot of services from there. Lately, in the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of data localization, a lot of digital localization is coming to play. So not just about your expertise now, you need to have enough market understanding to be able to play in those regions. But ultimately, these are very good growth area. And for us, we're leveraging a lot of this.
Yeah, very interesting when you put it that way, because we're seeing that demand for digital transformation projects come on board. We're seeing, like you rightly said, the data centers as well come on board. But then I see that there's a new subsidiary in the works here, Fifth Lab. Help us to unravel that.
Okay, so for Fifth Lab, which is our fintech sister company, Fifth Lab also did a very fantastic run last year by the maturity of some of our products. I mentioned earlier banking modernization, which is a platform that we work with some of the financial institutions today. And we recorded at least 14 new financial institutions coming on our banking modernization. We've also seen, which hopefully time will allow us to get into, the recent market recapitalization for financial institutions. I tell a lot of my colleagues, where do you think a lot of that money will go into? A lot of it, substantial amount of that money will go back into technology, because that's the edge you have to compete in the market that we have today with AI and every other thing coming on board. So Fifth Lab, yes, major investments, major news also coming up from that area. We're quite excited about it, and I'm sure we'll be at some point to speak more into that.
No doubt, we'll definitely love to speak on that when it comes up. But then looking at this now, revenues up 41%. I'm seeing that software revenues play a key role in that. And now with what you just said now, I'm trying to imagine what's the long-term plan in terms of software revenue for the company.
So there's a deliberate dynamic shift for us in CWG. If you see what we've done in the past, we're now gradually moving into scalable technology infrastructure. building and creating enterprise platforms, building also financial rails and all the rest, in order for us to propel the current digital growth that we're seeing in this current terrain and in this area. And a lot of government support also. I mean, we can't take that out. So you also have to ride with the momentum that you're currently seeing at the moment. Infrastructure is infrastructure. That's the bedrock of how everything runs. But we're clearly seeing now that services, software, platform engagement, where you could scale in mass, is the real big thing that will happen in this territory in the next 3 to 5 years. And we've made substantial investments and planning that lately.
Talking about riding with the momentum here, and then I'm then curious to know how you're positioning for AI, artificial intelligence. You know, definitely going to be a game changer in the markets, and you're sitting at the heart of that industry.
Totally agree, absolutely. But I tell a lot of people to just see AI as an outcome. Honestly, I've seen a lot of AI strategy from several organizations, and I think the buzz and the bubble at some point will fade away. I advise organizations, look at the real substance. See AI as a means to an end. What exactly is that end that you wish to deliver? We've had technology doing fantastic things before AI. So yes, have a AI strategy as an organization, but you have to clearly understand what exactly is the value that I have to bring into this entity. For us in CWG, it's very easy. We have clusters. We have this value chain or ecosystem today that we play in. One of it is the financial institution. One big trouble you have in that area is fraud. And when I say fraud, a lot of these frauds are not likely cybersecurity or some big foreign companies trying to eat into this bank. No, they are largely employee fraud. So we have taken the algorithms, we have taken the understanding of that
processes
to understand where is the role of AI to be able to contain some of these exposures that we have today. That's a clear, deliberate approach that delivers immediate value to end users.
All right, interesting. Well, thank you again so much for your time on the show today. I'm speaking with Adewale Adeyipo, the Group CEO of CWG.